Om. Om. Oh Lord, may your hand lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May all be happy. May all be peaceful. May all be enlightened and cultured. May all attain perfection. May peace be established in the three bodies of man. May peace be established in the three worlds. May peace be established everywhere. May truth be our religion. May service be our worship. May knowledge be our birth. May world be our family. May yoga and meditation be our way. May our eyes see happy and noble things. May our ears hear happy and truthful words. May our tongues be sweet and truthful. May our bodies be divine instruments. May noble thoughts come to us from all corners of the universe. May we never leave God. May God never leave us. Om, peace and love. Om, peace and health. Om, peace and enlightenment. Om. Good morning. Today I would like to talk to you about Matri, karuna, mudita, and upeksha. Patanjali, in his first chapter of Yoga Darshan, Patanjali, the great proponent of yoga and the 8 limbs of yoga, talked about obstacles that we have in any part of our life. We have obstacles. Anytime we wish to do something, of course, there come obstacles. And in meditation, there come obstacles as well. In our spiritual life, there come obstacles. Even in anything, we may have obstacles, and we have to work with them. And he lists the obstacles. And when you go through the list, you say to yourself, this is not so easy to get rid of all of these. But then 2 sutras later, he says something that is absolutely magnificent. He says, if you practice one of these virtues, Matri, karuna, mudita, or upeksha, towards objects that are virtuous or sinful, you will receive the blessings of your mind. So what are these for? Well, Matri is happiness, friendliness. Matri is friendly. And you say, well, I'm friendly to people who are friendly to me. No, one needs to be friendly all the time. It's not that difficult to be friendly. We also have to be friendly to ourselves. We judge ourselves too much. We need to be friendly. It is not something that is coming from outside of us. Friendliness is a decision that you make to be that kind of individual who shows friendliness, who shows karuna, which is compassion. So friendliness is something that you show. Karuna is compassion that you have within you for all human beings, for our animals, for everything. Compassion. Empathy is different. Empathy is a gut reaction that we have. When we see something, compassion is a feeling that we develop. It's not a gut feeling, but it's a feeling that we can develop. It's not a physical feeling, but it's a feeling that we can develop. What is compassion? We see something that is not of the best quality, or it may be sinful, or it may be hurtful, or it may be somebody is injured. We need to show compassion. We need to have that kind of compassion for anything that is wrong. Compassion means I see the divine love within everything. We cannot be 100% perfect. It's impossible. We're humans. And if we do something imperfect, we must have compassion. We must understand that being part of humanity, we're going to do things that are not always the best. And we need to have compassion for ourselves and see the divine within us and know that that was outside of the divine. It was something outside, and it needs to be brought back in. We judge ourselves much too much, and we have very little compassion for our own actions. We usually start nagging at our mind, I should have, I could have, and why didn't I do this and that? We have to have compassion, because everyone does the best that they can with the tools that they have at that moment. Hindsight is different, but at that moment we did something that was not of the best quality, so we need to have compassion. If we see somebody that is injured, we need to have compassion. We need to understand their suffering. We need to feel their suffering, not in a gut, but in the mind. And we have to give them love. Anytime you start criticizing yourself, you need to put compassion in there. Anytime you see injury of anything that is, you need to put divine love. Compassion and divine love go hand in hand. And it is a wonderful way of being in our life. Compassion allows us to look at everything with a mind that has a feeling that everything is in divine order and can be changed and can be transformed into divine love. Everything can be transformed into divine love. If you see somebody suffering, compassion will bring us there to assist them. If we don't have compassion, our mind will go, should I help them? Will it help if I help them? If they are if you have compassion, you will automatically go and assist. If you see somebody suffering, you will have that desire to give them a helping hand. How do we give people a helping hand? by showing them love and attention. We might not be able to take their pain away, but we are able to show them the strength that you can have through divine love. We are able to give people attention and courage. That is compassion. So if you see someone suffering, have compassion. When someone does something wrong, you usually say, they deserve what they get. Not really. Very interesting when you read or study how the indigenous people used to take the person that has done a sinful act, even if it was a major sinful act, and rather than punishing that individual, they brought the individual into a circle and had the entire community speak about that individual and all the good qualities that that person had. Because their basic belief was that everyone is good, and sinful actions are due to a wrong thought process. And if we start having compassion when we personally do something wrong, we usually criticize ourselves. And by criticizing ourselves, we actually intensify the wrongdoing. Whereas if you have compassion and divine love and show all the beauties that one has and kind of like negate some of that sinful action or that pain and see all the other parts, then maybe a change will occur. Everyone does their very best with the tools that they have at that moment. And when we have the wrong tools, we will do the wrong things. And when we look back and we say, how on earth could I have done that? How could I have been so cruel? How could I have done that? Or how could I not feel compassion to the person that is hurting? Or how could I not help that individual that was hurting? Because at that time, I did not have compassion. So compassion is needed. Compassion is learned. Compassion is something we choose to have. So Matri, friendliness, karuna, compassion. And then mudita, happiness. You say to yourself, well, I'm happy when things are good. Happiness comes from inside. Another person around me, the situation does not make me happy. No, that's not true. Happiness comes from inside, what we decide, how we decide to have our mind that day. Happiness is a decision we make. We do not wait to be prompted to be happy from outside. We cannot wait to be prompted to be happy. And should you be happy, and you're waiting for people outside. You go into your office and you smile at everybody, and somebody goes, "What are you smiling about? Why are you so happy?" Because I chose to be happy today. Happiness is a choice, and every day you can make that choice. Do not wait for external circumstances to make you happy. You get up in the morning and you make the choice to be happy. You know why you need to have this? It's because whatever thought you send out, it comes back to you. Whatever vibration you send out, the vibration comes back. And if you send out happiness, and you send out mudita, friendliness, and when you send out karuna, and when you send out all Matri, well, these thought vibrations come out and they come back to us. And they are part of our being then. And they don't just help us, they help humanity as well. Now the last one is called upeksha. Upeksha really means indifference. When you see an sinful act, and you cannot do anything about it, become indifferent to it. Most people translate upeksha as equanimity, but that's not the real meaning of upeksha. Upeksha means when you see sinful acts, do not participate. And what does that mean? Do not participate with the mind as well as with the action. Because if I keep my mind focused on negativity, I will add power to that negativity. If we keep our mind focused on sinful actions of whoever, then we are bringing a vibration into the universe, and anyone else that has a slight feeling for that will come up with the idea of that. Will get that vibration. You see, we are like radio waves. And when people's mind tunes in, like we used to tune into the dials in the radio, when people's mind just slightly tune in to a negative vibration, they will attract similar negative vibrations immediately to compound their feeling, even though they might have not been that negative. So do not keep mental images and constant nagging and complaining about the negativities in this world and about you or someone else or an individual. If you wish to see a change in another human being or a child, you do not keep harping on what they are doing wrong. We have to become like the indigenous, showing them of all the wonderful things that they are right with, so that they can remove the wrong, so that they can feel that they have the power of changing. But if we keep harping on what's wrong and keep nagging of what's wrong in ourselves and in others, then we intensify that within the person. This is also becomes a problem with mass consciousness. When we look at the media, and the media shows not the good news, it shows the bad news. And yes, we need to know about the bad news, but it keeps harping about it, and people have it on all day long, rather than just finding out what's wrong and closing it. But people listen to it all day long. Then their mind adds to the energy of that wrong, of that. And this is how you get an entire mass consciousness going in one particular direction. And we have noticed that, I always find this very interesting. You can have done 100 things that were right, and you do something wrong, and it's immediately noticed. There was a teacher. She wrote on the board 10 sentences, each one in perfect grammatical order. And then the last sentence had a grammatical mistake. And immediately, the entire class came and pointed out the mistake. Because we are attracted towards the negative. We expect the things that are right to be right. We expect it. Shouldn't be. We should empower what is right so that the negativity is forgotten. It's negated. It is not dominant. It doesn't become a dominant trait. Very important. Upeksha is very, very important. It is being indifferent to sinful acts. Not that we approve of them, but we don't add energy to them. If you can change it, you must do your very best to change it. But if you cannot, do not add energy to sinful acts, or to negative acts, or to mistakes. So when Patanjali was talking about, of all the qualities that keep us from attaining our goals, and they're all mostly negative qualities, like laziness and so forth, then it's important not to dwell upon the negative, but to counterbalance them with mudita, friendliness, Matri, friendliness, mudita, happiness, karuna, compassion. Matri, and that, so our mind is constantly in a vibration of that attracts similar vibrations, and therefore, if we are friendly, we will attract friendly thoughts from others. And if we are friendly, we will also serve humanity by giving out thoughts of friendliness, and that people will be friendly thoughts will be attracted to. So, friendliness is something that you can practice. Karuna is something you can practice. Happiness is something you must practice, because happiness comes from inside, not from external circumstances. And you have to make a decision to be happy today. And then if something negative happens, or you are not at perfect timing, and you commit a sinful act, do not participate with it. If you see something and you can't do anything about it, do not participate in sinful acts. And come with equanimity, a balance. Come with balance. All of Bhagavad Gita says yoga is equanimity, balance. Balanced mind. But if you want the blessings, or the prasadam is what Patanjali says, prasadam of the chitta. Prasadam means blessings of the chitta, which is your mind stuff. If you want blessings of your mind to remove obstacles, practice friendliness, compassion, happiness, and equanimity. And all of those are within our reach. They are not something that come from outside. We need to practice. And if they don't come easy, repeated practice over and over will make it happen sooner or later. And remember, every cell in our body, every cell knows exactly what we are thinking. Every cell has neurotransmitters. And what is in our mind has neurotransmitters. So whatever our mind is doing, our body responds to. And imagine if we are happy, if we're full of joy, if we're full of divine love, how would the cells feel? If you're miserable, if you're unhappy, and you're thinking negative, what would the cells feel? How do you feel if your boss, and you are the boss of every cell, comes over to you and constantly nags you about a mistake that you have had, and constantly complains, and is not friendly, and does not have compassion for you? How would you feel? So our body can respond to this. And when you are happy, haven't you not noticed that your body feels lighter and you have more energy? And when you are sad, you have less energy. Your body slumps. So these things are the blessings of our chitta, but they're also a blessing for our physical body. So don't underestimate these very simple but complex states of being that we can practice, and it doesn't take that much effort. We just have to make a decision to be happy. That doesn't mean that there are not going to be bad, negative things happening. People die, people come alive. You have birth, you have death. You have day, you have night. You have all of that, but you can still be happy throughout. There will be sad times, but the basis of our being must be happiness. And when we see suffering, we must have compassion. We must give divine love to those that are suffering. This is the most important part. When we see suffering, we must give divine love, to give them courage, to give them power to overcome the suffering. This is what compassion is all about. And then decide to be happy. Decide that no matter what happens in life, I will overcome and be happy that I am alive. I am happy I am alive. I am happy that God has given me this grace. I am happy that God is providing for me. Yes, there are difficult times, and there are sad times, there are happy times, but basically I am happy for this life. These are all things that I can create in my mind. And when I see negativity, sinful actions, when I see war and I see people doing horrible things to one another, know that they are. Send loving energy. Pray. Ask for divine grace for these people. But do not participate, and do not keep mulling it over in the mind to create thought processes that follow these thoughts. This is very important. Our mind is very powerful. We have no idea how powerful it is. and how you can light up an entire congregation, an entire group of people by just being happy. They begin to smile. They begin to feel good about themselves. One person can do that. One person full of happiness, one person full of friendliness, one person full of compassion can change the atmosphere in an entire room and in an entire universe if we all practice this. And most importantly, according to Patanjali, you can overcome the obstacles that we face in any one of our endeavors in life, be it in life, in any part of our life, and our spiritual life, and our learning, and our jobs, and everything. Is when we practice these, we can overcome. And what a blessing that is. And with this, I will leave you. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om. Om. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Om.